Einstein Wurfelt knot is a 5x5 board abstract strategy game. You have 6 pieces initially on the board, and the goal is for red to get a piece to the top left corner or blue to get a piece to the bottom right corner. And you can capture your own pieces, and the reason you want to do that is they make the rest of your pieces move a whole lot faster. I'll attach a link to the official rules. But this is my AI for the program. So the way the pieces move is you roll a 6-sided die. I rolled a 1. And if your 1's still on the board, you have to move it. If the 1 is not on the board, you have to move the piece that's the next higher from 1 or the next lower. Well, there's no lower than 1, so here we have to move the 1. Now if we capture the 2 piece, on the next turn if we roll either a 1 or a 2, we can move that piece, right? So that's usually a good move. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, we're gonna go 1B x 2B, and that captures it. Now it's the computer's turn, and it's thinking about 5-6 plies ahead, right? Because you gotta remember, each turn the computer's gotta think, I could roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I could make these moves. And it has rolled a 1, and it moved the 1 up and to the left. And we rolled a 2, so notice how that was a good move, because that allows us to move the 1 piece. We could use our 3 piece to capture that red 1. That might not be a good idea though, because it would increase the mobility of that 2. So I'm going to move my 1, I'm going to move it to the middle of the board. There we go. Now the computer's thinking 6 moves ahead. So while I play that, let me show you how big this computer program is. I wrote a search for all of the endgame positions. Now as pieces are exchanged and you're down to 5 or 6 pieces, there aren't that many combinations of 5 and 6 pieces. You can pre-calculate the probability of winning for each side when you have 5 or 6 pieces, right? All of the positions on 5 pieces are calculated, some on 6 pieces. The combination of all of them on 6 pieces is a little bit bigger than I can store in my memory. I'm using an MSI laptop. It has about 64 gigabytes of RAM, and this endgame table base uses about 55 gigabytes of RAM. And this endgame table base took the computer about 12 hours to calculate. I got a funny story to tell you about the calculation. I'll play another move and I'll tell a story about that. We rolled a 6, our 6 piece is still on the board. We're gonna move it diagonally. And the computer's thinking 7 moves ahead. It thinks it's ahead because it's a positive number. If it's a negative number, then it thinks it's behind. It rolled a 2. Oh, it captured our 1. Okay, no wonder it's ahead. We roll a 1, we have to move the 3 because it's the next highest. We don't want to capture, so we're going to move it to the right. And now it's even more ahead. Okay. So the endgame table base took about 12 hours to calculate because there's about 50-some billion positions. And as it was calculating, the computer's fan was going crazy. It sounds like this. Now I was sleeping when the computer was doing that, and I had a dream. I dreamt that the computer was flying in space, and it was using its fan as propulsion, and it was flying to Proxima Centauri or another star system, and it was going to take 10,000 years to get there, and then some alien was going to play the game. It was going to calculate a much bigger head game table base than that, probably, right? And some alien was going to play the game and then send the computer back. Now in my dream, I was watching the computer fly, and it was approaching the planet, and I remember praying that the parachute better deploy correctly because I've been waiting 10,000 years to see this. And the parachute opens up, but I was jolted awake from the parachute opening up, which is kind of weird because I'm only watching it, right? I'm not on board, right? But for some reason, I was jolted awake by that. And that's too bad. I really wanted to see how my computer program would fare with aliens. And I've always wanted to run computer simulations that would take tens of thousands of years. That's probably why I dreamt that. So I woke up and I gave my computer AI a little bit of a nickname. I like to give all my games nicknames. I called it Einstein Interstellar. We rolled a 3, so we have to move the 3, which is unfortunate because we can't capture the 2. We're gonna move it to the middle of the board. The computer has rolled a 4. We roll a 3. Oh, we might win. Let's move that diagonally, although it does require us to capture the 4. Oh, I put the wrong key. That's alright. So the computer rolled a 4 and it moved up and to the left. We roll a 6. We're gonna capture our own 3 because that will give that 4 a better chance of moving. So it's so now the computer is able to think 10 moves ahead because it's probably hitting a bunch of these endgame tables. We rolled a 5, which is good because now we can capture that red 4. And now we're at the endgame table base, so the computer's moving almost instantly now. We're gonna move diagonally. Oh, it looks like we've completely lost now. The computer thinks it has a guaranteed win. Probably doesn't matter now. Great. And the computer wins. And it starts a new game. My camera's not zooming correctly now. Alright, I'll put a link to the rule set for the game.